So it is December. I did it again. It's January 2nd, 2026. Happy New Year. I just wanted to make a quick comment before a train comes by because I'm in the train station. um, I wanted to know everybody that was a participant. One person that came up was Patrick Lear Riley, and I didn't write it out because I wanted to talk about it. He was my friend since middle school as well. He had like five brothers, five sisters. A lot of them ended up dying here and there. Now it makes sense why. And then by the time high school was over, almost over, he lost his sister Jewel. Oh gosh, his sister Jewel was in a car with another sister and her dad and mom. And I guess her dad was drunk, and everybody in the car accident died except for her. She was the only survivor. And I can see why. Jewel was really sweet to me. She was always nice to me. I don't know if she was a participant of this either, but I don't know why this guy has to literally walk all the way just to talk right around where I'm at. So, anyway, I'm just going to make sure I can see my stuff right now. But basically, we were friends for a long time. And then I remember he became a mechanic, a motorcycle mechanic. Um, and I think he's a Cancer, but he became a motorcycle. Now he's walking closer here. What the hell? But he's a motorcycle mechanic. And we were still friends after high school. And then when I was in college, he ended up going we kind of, liked each other a little bit, and we were like, we don't want to hurt each other, but we're kind of, we'll get close, and that was a bad idea. And then he decided he wanted to go after Tanya, and at the time, Tanya was with some like cholo Hispanic guy. God, I can't remember his name. I think it's I want to say Chico or something, but it's Chess something. Anyway, and so oh my god, like two people just looked over here and then they like looked away again. They're trying to see how close they can get to me. I'm so tired of New York. Anyhow, he ended up going after Tanya and started to talk to her and everything. And so she told me like, hey, he's talking to me. And I asked him, I said, if you want to see other people, that's fine, but don't try to be close to me if you're going to do that. And well, I'm not looking for anything. So So I had to stop the video because that guy kept on walking closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And I put it on pause, and he's like, while he's talking in some kind of African language. And then I said, hey, excuse me, can you stop talking? I said, can you stop walking close to me because I'm trying to do a recording right now, and you keep on, oh, sorry. No, you're not sorry, bro. You kept on walking because you saw me walk this way. Like, I'm tired of New York. I'm tired of New York. I'm disgusted. Anyway, basically what I wanted to say. One second, here comes a train now. So basically, when Patrick and I started hanging out, I think I was at community college at BBC, and this was my first year there. Long story short, I hung out with him and another friend, and we were all, well, I decided to drink heavy like they were drinking, and I drank too heavily, so I fell asleep there. And it was his friend's house. He had a wife, and I guess I had to be gone before the morning. And I was like, well, can I just keep my car here because I'm drunk, and you just drive me home? Oh, well, I'm taking my motorcycle. I said, well, can you just, drive me home in my car, bring it back, and then I'll just have one of my parents come and bring me? And he's like, no, you need to take your car. I said, I'm drunk. I can't drive right now. And he had no care about that. And when I got home, I was really upset. I cried for the whole day. He didn't even call me to see if I made it back home. So I decided, I'm going to do one last thing because this is the end of our friendship. And because, I don't need a friend that's going to do that. So I knew his birthday was coming up, so I made him a pillow that said like Irishman. It had a motorcycle on it, and I sewed it on the pillow and everything. And on his Facebook, he had his business, like where he worked at. It was a mechanic shop for motorcycles. So I went there, and he had the nerve to try to be like, are you stalking me? How'd you know I was here? I said, it's on your freaking profile. You even told me about it when we had a conversation. So I gave him that, and I never talked to him again. And a year later, after I forgot about him, deleted his phone number, he texted me and was like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, who the hell is this? And he was like, oh, it's me, Patrick Leary. And I was like, do you know who you're messaging right now? Because I was already over our friendship. And he said, yes, Miss Harrington. And I was like, okay, well, So he said, yes, I'm talking to Miss Harrington. And I was like, okay, well, you can lose my number because I don't need friends like you. I said, if I have friends like you, I don't need enemies. And then he said, okay. And then he just disappeared, which was fine because that's exactly how I felt. Why am I going to be friends with somebody who's going to let me drive drunk, who doesn't care if I even get home? Oh my God. There's so many people wandering around right now, even though there was a train that just came. But that would be the story about Patrick Leary. So we went to middle school. I met him in middle school. We went to high school together. I met him again later on at college. And he was a horrible friend. So I hope Jewel is doing okay. I don't know if Jewel is also a participant. At this point, I really don't care about anybody that's in California that partook in my targeted violence program or the MK Ultra program, you know. So it is what it is. But aside from that, God bless, and I hope everybody has a great day.